All right, I'm back.
There's a podcast called Between Two Slabs. They consume mass media. It seems so sad. It's the Great Curator and Merlin. They can't grow pubes, so they gotta wear a merkin. They got no money, so I guess they gotta share. Just two nerds wishing they could grow body hair. Comics, cards, and toys, nothing that would interest you. It's the podcast that nobody listens to.
All right, he is back, the Great Curator. Rise and shine, Great Curator. It is Curator Army time. It's Merlin Collects. Merlin here, and we've got Dan back from Asia. I don't know if he's up or down right now, what part of his body clock's going off. We don't know, but he has sacrificed right now. I know he's packing a bunch of Saturday morning cards. I heard that the Street Fighter is a new release this week. We will talk about that. We will talk about his trip. We will talk about the regional card show. We'll talk about what we got for the holiday and what's in store for 2025. So let's begin. Thank you for waiting. Dan, since his clock is all off, he had to shove some food in his mouth before he came on air. He didn't want to eat in front of you guys. So
I wish I could eat. Like how much more entertaining would the podcast be if we had dinner together? Right, like we were just eating and
had dinner with the Great Curator.
Conversational would it be? I think it might not look great. It might not sound great for the people listening, but I think it would be a lot more fun. I mean, I wish definitely because we have it usually during dinner time.
Well, you're not allowed to eat obnoxious eater, so I think you'd be okay.
Yeah,
you
might see me. Sorry, guys, I had to eat something. I've been working overtime. I got back on Sunday. And I have to get all these Street Fighters shipped out this week because I promised everybody that I would do it by starting Monday. So I came back Sunday. I'm so jet lagged. I woke up at 2 a.m. today, super jet lagged, barely eating anything, working overtime to get these damn things out. And I was almost going to cancel tonight, to be honest, Merlin. I didn't even want to do this.
Oh, my God. You know how many guys have been canceling on me lately?
Yes, but
I can't have my own co-host do it.
Here's the thing. It's like we're winding the podcast down, and we said end of year is going to be the last podcast. We're going to end it this year, and that's next week, guys. So I don't know. So I said I couldn't cancel because next week's will be our last episode. Let me just check the calendar here. Well, we could do 2 more episodes technically. We could do one.
Next week's going to be really rough on me. We may have to do.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Or when I get back.
So we're going to take next week off, and then our last episode will probably be Monday the 30th.
Sounds
I think.
Good.
Right? So because of that, I couldn't really bail tonight's episode, even though I've got so much work to do. I'm even at my office. I'm working overtime, staying at my office. But we're going to get it done. We're going to get it done because, this podcast means a lot to both of us. And, we need to have these conversations before we wind everything down. So let's do it. What are we talking about tonight?
Well, first of all, I would have noticed you had the Street Fighter box out. Now, that design on that front of that box looks totally different from the other SMC boxes. It's got a totally different look on the front. And to me, it seems a little bigger. Is this all true?
Yes. So if you didn't know, if you haven't been watching the content that we've been posting on the Saturday Morning Cards account, you may not know what changes we made. So this is the first box in our video game line, what I call the video game dual versus card line. And it's actually 2 cards in the box. So that's why it looks bigger. Okay. And it opens up like this. I don't have any cards in here right now, but 2 cards will be in here just like a video game, right? Just like, player versus player. That's the way that we've kind of designed this box. And we can apply this to any type of, video game that has like 2 characters that always go at each other. So that's what this is.
The 2 guys that's on the inner sleeve in there, right?
Yes. And this box, it still has like this screen here that kind of resembles our TV screen on the single card box, but this is meant to look like actually the arcade version of Street Fighter. If you've ever seen it or you want to Google it, This is what the arcade kind of looks like. It has like this static effect sign, and then here's the logo, everything like that. So we tried to pay homage to the original arcade with this. We even have the arcade buttons here on the side here, and the 25-cent coin slot here, and then on the back here you'll see the map where it goes, like where you're about to challenge somebody and the little airplane flies there. That's what this is, plus our bio. And then this is one cool feature that I haven't really shown this off yet, but you got to look at this, okay? So when you open this up, the box actually rises. You see that?
I thought that. I was wondering how that worked.
The box actually rises at, so it's like it comes at you like this. So it's a cool little feature that we added with this box.
I was wondering how that worked. That is cool. Are you going to do that from now on or what?
Just with this box, not with the other ones, because that's a different type of product. But it's kind of it's a really cool product. It's the first time we've ever done this type of product line with 2 cards. So I hope that it's successful. It's selling pretty well so far. And what the fun part is, so like this is how we do the marketing campaign. We show off the product first, then we do our pre-order period, which lasts for like a week, 2 weeks. That's what we're doing right now. And this is basically me making a lot of content every day, showing off the cards in a different way and all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But for me, the fun part is when we actually go to shipping, which started yesterday, and we start shipping these things out. Even though that part is a lot of work and it kind of sucks, what I love is when people start getting these and they start doing their unboxings and they start making content, and then I get to watch all that. So that's what I'm kind of excited about to see this week. And who knows, you might see some content creators, some influencers also opening up their packages, and we might see some cool content coming out. So I'm excited.
Now, I know in all the other boxes prior to the Street Fighter one, since it's just a single card, you had, serial numbered variation cards, prism cards, and you also had sketch cards. Now that you've got 2 cards in one box, how's it going to work?
So we still have all the same parallels that we had before: the stars, the matrix, the ice, the black 1-of-1, the golds. We added a couple different parallels because this time we could not have sketch cards because Capcom, the license holder, they wouldn't approve it. I fought for it, guys. Believe me, I tried to get them to allow us to do the sketch cards, but they just weren't having it because they want to just make sure the brand and the characters are represented the way that they want it to be represented. So they didn't want the variations of sketch card artists kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah, I'm sure that you would need an approval for each sketch card, and that would probably take forever. And that's
So it's not feasible, and they just wouldn't go for it. So that's fine. So what we did is we added a couple different new parallels to this to kind of round it out. So what we did is we added a color, the first real color parallel out of 75. So Guile has a green parallel out of 75, and Zangief has a red parallel out of 75. We added another gold. We added a gold matrix out of 20. So we have the gold ice out of 25. We have the true gold out of 10. And now we have a gold matrix, which I think looks really badass, out of 20 on this. And I think that's it. Oh, and we added a silver variation also. So you have the basic artwork, but now we have a color variation, which if you remember this game, when you select the character, they have their regular uniform. And then if you select their mirror version, it's their character, but it's a different color, right? So Guile, he has army green, but his mirror version has brown, army brown. So we added a silver variation that has the mirror costume that they have, the mirror outfit. So that's kind of cool. And I think that's numbered, I can't remember right now. I think that's numbered at 100, if I remember correctly.
But so, if you pull the 1-of-1, will they both be 1-of-1s?
Yes.
I'm glad I asked
this. I painstakingly put together all the cases, all the singles, everything. I did it myself. so that everything matches. So if you open this up and let's just say you pull a gold Guile, you're gonna get the gold Zangief also. So
good to know. Good to
yeah,
know. So
because
you'll get double lucky. If you get lucky, you'll be double lucky.
yeah, everything's matching. Because I was thinking about it, I was gonna mix it up like gold or silver, and I was thinking to myself, man, if they do, it's not gonna look right. It's not gonna look right. So I think it'd look way cooler if they're matching. So everything will be matching. So if you get a stars matching, a gold matching, a green and or color parallel, green and red matching. And what I also did, I was gonna let people figure this out, but I'll just say it on here because who knows? Probably nobody's gonna listen to this. I actually matched the numbers too on the low number ones. So obviously the 1 of 1 will be matching number, but then the black gold out of 5s, those are all matching numbers. So if you get the 2 out of 5 for Guile, it's going to have the 2 out of 5 for Zangief also.
Oh, really? Oh,
I also did the matching golds out of 10. So those are going to work out. And then whoever gets the God case is going to have matching numbers of every single parallel in the God case, except for the black gold, because that's not in the God case.
Oh my goodness, man. Yeah.
So
you pull that God case, that's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah. Some lucky person's going to get it. So, like we spent a lot of time on this because we couldn't get the sketch cards in there. We wanted to make it pay attention.
So you weren't trying to get sketch cards in there. You do like have sketch cards like at your home, but you just couldn't put them in there.
Yeah, we couldn't get commissioned sketch cards this time. And you know what? That's okay, because at first I was really upset about that. But then, I kind of thought to myself, like, I don't want to, like, the sketch cards have been insanely popular.
Yes, they have.
They've definitely been a hit, and that was my idea, so I'll take credit for that. But, to be honest, they're kind of like almost overshadowing the card itself, on some of these releases. And I don't like that. I want the card to be the main thing that people want to buy. I don't want them to be chasing the sketch cards all the time. So I think that this is a good kind of segue into maybe not letting the sketch cards be so front facing prominent part of the product. I don't know, maybe in the future, if we sell really well, maybe Capcom will loosen their stance on the sketch cards and allow us to put them into the future products. I don't know. But I think that this is a good way to kind of like show people, hey, it's not all about sketch cards. It's actually, the card itself is what you want to buy. You want to chase the low number parallels and enjoy the artwork. And the artwork on this is probably some of the best that we've had out of all our releases. We had one of my favorite artists. His name is Peter. I always butcher his last name. I just call him PJ, but his name is Peter Katakuna, I think. He's out of the Philippines, but he lives in Canada. And
oh, really?
Yeah, and I made a deal with him where he's doing the entire series of a character. So we have 12 characters. There's going to be 6 releases total over the next 6 months or so. And
wow.
He's doing all 12 characters. So it's going to be a true set of cards, same format, same matching style artwork and everything like that. And let me talk about the format a little bit. I don't have one of the cards on me right now, but the format is really cool. It's a main image of the character in a victory pose. So like Guile, for example, his victory pose is he combs his hair. So the main image is the victory pose. There's going to be 2 smaller images of the special moves. So Guile, he's got his flash kick. So you'll see the special move there. And then he's got the sonic boom. So you'll see that. And then there's a little detail on there where it shows the button combination to do the special moves, which was really cool. Then the arcade stage of that character is in the background. So with Guile, it's going to be the Air Force Base. And then what my personal favorite part of this is the character select screen, which will be on the bottom of the card, just above the nameplate, where it has all 12 characters. So we came up with that design together, and I think it's perfect for this release. And then it's going to look really cool if you get the whole set of cards and you put them all together on display. It's going to look really cool.
Now, did the the retail, was it the same price, or was this cost more since there's two
So,
cards?
so here's what I did. Okay. So retail for this box is $60. Okay.
Okay, so it's two
$60.
cards. Yeah.
So normally our box is $30 for one card. Same price per card, $30. But since we have two, we have to charge $60. So that's what this is. Okay. It's $60,
Yeah.
but you get two cards. So it's same price per card. And then the cases, instead of getting 20 boxes per case, since you're getting two cards, you're getting 10 boxes per case. So still the same number of cards that you would get per case, which is 20, same price per card and same price per case. The only difference is you're getting 10 boxes versus 20 boxes in the case.
Yeah, and I assume of all the SMC cards that have come out, this is probably the most expensive licensed IP you've done so far. Am I right?
Yes. We definitely had to pay up for this. I mean, it's Capcom, it's Street Fighter, it's a huge franchise. It's probably the biggest franchise that we're working with so far. So we did have to, licenses are expensive. You got to pay up. You got to pay, big money for these things, and you got to pay up front, which we did. And I'm glad you brought that up, Merlin, because I had conversations with my partner about this, and we're like, we had to pay a lot of money to get this. We can't, we got to work with all these guidelines, because they're very corporate. We should charge more for this, right? We should charge, like, if we have a dual card box, we should charge $100 for this or whatever, $120 or something like that. And dude, like, people are buying all those art cards for like 150, 200, piggy banks cards are $750 now, things like that. So I'm thinking,
that's the starting price. That's the retail price from his site.
So I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, like, we have original artwork. It's licensed. It's a huge brand, quality packaging, dude. We could totally get away with charging whatever price, right? $150 for something like this. But I thought to myself, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to try to squeeze money out of people, because I feel like the point of Saturday morning cards is to make an affordable collectible, give you the same type of quality as the art cards, give you the same premium packaging, give you the same chase elements, all that stuff that we love in the hobby, but just make it affordable, make it the same price as a blaster box, basically, so that people can afford it and enjoy this. Because the people that buy this, they're not necessarily the people that buy into the breaks. Everybody in the sports card hobby mostly that buys in the breaks or is used to paying whatever amount of money, $300, $500 for a box of cards. Most of those people are just buying it because they think they're going to get the hit and turn around and sell it. But the people that like Dick Tracy, that like Rocketeer, that like Popeye, dude, they're just like really normal collectors. They don't get caught up in all that stuff. They're not going to spend $100, $200 on anything, really. They just don't have. They just don't see the value in stuff like that. So that's why I really had to kind of keep in mind the crowd that I'm going for, the pop culture nerds, the people that grew up in the 80s, 90s, like myself, that might not be high-end collectors, that might not have a lot of disposable income. I just wanted to make a product where they could get into the hobby at a affordable price point. So that's why we price them only at $30, and that's why we stay with the same pricing model for this, even though I think we probably could have charged more, but you know what?
Sure.
It's fine. Even at our price point, that's enough for us to break even and make a little bit of money and still pay for the license and all that stuff. We don't need to be greedy or anything like that.
No.
Not yet, guys. Not yet. Okay. But for now, that's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, that's what when the last two shows I've done while you were away, I did the Front Row Card Show, and then I did the guys who do the West Coast Card Show, their local show. The REIT's called the Regional now, down in your neck of the woods in Santa Ana or Anaheim. And I had a few of my art cards out, say like from Piggy Banks, Glue Trap, and other people, and then had SMC cards out, and people were like looking at them, and to the regular person, they don't know the difference.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They don't understand. And I have to tell them, like, explain what the difference between an art card is and a licensed designed, like pretty much like an IP card. Like this is like SMC's licensed. You can get it graded by any grading company. That's why you can make mass production if you want, because you have paid the rights for it. Whereas an art card has to be pretty much an digital art or whatever. It's got to be a one of one and a limited, very limited run, and pretty much a mashup to avoid, I guess, those copyright fees for right now. Am I right about that?
That's a good point. Nobody's ever really asked me that, but interesting. You're on top of your game tonight, Merlin. So it's been
I know.
a while
I like
since
explain to you when I go to these shows now, because I have to tell them SMC is not an art card. It is a licensed, designed card like you would buy like at Target or Walmart or your local card shop.
So we're not. I call these art cards, but we're not really in the same space. Okay. No. I actually call this, and I'm coining this term. Okay. And I'm sure people are going to copy me. I call these mini art prints, mini art
prints.
Because, I'm an art collector, and I love to go to Comic Cons and stuff like that. And something that you'll see all the time is you'll see an artist that does an original art piece, and then they'll make prints of that original art piece. It's very common practice. And you can buy those prints. Original art piece might be like thousands of dollars, but you can buy one of their art prints for like $15, $20 or whatever, right? $30. And sometimes they make like numbered versions that are on canvas or G-Clay, high quality printers, things like that. And they'll number them to out of like 50 or 75 or something like that, right? So I took that concept of prints. So we commission original art, but we make them prints. And unlike the card artist category, where basically their model is to make one print and then make a variation, and they might have 10 one-of-one variations or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. So it's very limited, and that's how they have to charge $200 for one of their cards, because they only make like 10 or whatever, right? With us, again, it's not going to do me any good to make 10 versions of this. I could, right? I could copy that model, but it's not going to be out there enough. I don't want 10 people to have this. I want 1,000 people to have this. You know what I mean? So that's why we make 1,000 print runs. We still keep it limited enough where it's not like mass produced like Topps, where they're making like 10,000 of any one card or whatever. So it's still limited edition, but it's enough where a good amount of people can have it. So that's why we call these mini art prints. It's not a one-of-one art piece or anything like that. It's original art, but produced in a limited run so that it's a print.
Oh wow! They're not mini art.
And I have to tell you this too. This is very interesting. So when we go out and get the licenses for these things, and this, I might be telling you too much. I might be spilling the tea here, but fuck it. We only got 2 episodes left. So when we go out and get these licenses, a very common objection that we get is, so you make cards? No, we do a deal with Upper Deck. We do a deal with Panini. We do a deal with Topps. So we already have a card manufacturer. We don't want to make any more cards of whatever, Street Fighter, for example, right? Mm-hmm. There's actually another company that makes traditional Street Fighter cards. Okay. I'm not gonna plug them or anything, but there is. So one thing that we have to do to kind of get around that is we have to kind of differentiate ourselves from Topps and Panini and all these other guys, Upper Deck, where we're not doing a card series where we're making a 200 card checklist and we're doing, whatever hobby boxes. We're not doing any of that. We have a totally unique concept where we have one or two, in this case, 2 single cards that are presented in a premium packaging. And that's why we call these mini art prints. We don't call these cards. We don't call these trading cards, even though that's what they are. That's a form of the collectible. But we market it as mini art prints. And that's how, when we're making our pitches to these companies, they're like, okay, so you're not trading cards. You're not competing with Topps or Upper Deck. You're a mini art print. Your packaging is different. Your format is different. Okay, that makes sense to us. Here's the license, right? And then another cool aspect of what the concept that we're doing here is we took the concept of blind box toys, which are insanely popular right now. I was just in Asia. Blind box toys are everywhere there, dude. It's like as you know, it's crazy. There's so many of them.
We had some actually at our White Elephant Christmas party this weekend.
Yeah.
Someone had, that was one of their gifts.
Yeah. So that concept of a blind box toy, basically, if you've never seen it before, basically imagine this was just a box and inside is a toy. There'll be like 10 different versions of the toy that you can get. They're all different, and they show them on the box, and you open it up hoping to get the toy that you want or whatever. They call that blind box. You don't know what you're going to get. You hope. So it's just like opening a pack of cards, but it's one toy inside. So that's where the concept for Saturday morning cards came, where we wanted to do one card or two cards, blind box format. And that's how we differentiate ourselves from everybody else in the hobby.
I love it. I love it. Well, these will be great stocking stuffers for sure. Great Christmas gifts. Definitely. Even for White Elephant gifts, for company parties, Santa exchange, anything. So get yours today, guys. Well, you can check it out. Get the links on Saturday morning cards. Go to the site. Link on Instagram.
Yeah, order it on our website. Follow us on Instagram. If you place an order within the next if you place your order by like the 19th, I think I can get it to you guys by Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I can get it to you guys by Christmas if you place your order by the 19th. Okay. So check that out. And then also on our website, we're building our website out right now where we're having more availability. So you could buy the Popeye, you could buy the Terminator until they sell out. You could buy whatever we have on our website. We're offering more of a selection. So when we first started, we just kind of did it like limited edition drops where you have to go to the website and then it sells out really quick. And then, you either get it or you don't. And then that's it. And then you can't get anything else off of our website. But then we kind of shifted that strategy because I don't know when people are going to discover Saturday morning cards. I don't know when they're going to come visit our website. It's not always going to happen when we drop and do the limited release, right? They could look at it right now. They could watch our podcast for the first time and be like, oh, let me go check out that site. So I needed to have things on the website for them to be able to purchase, because once you go there, if there's nothing to buy, they're like, oh, screw these guys, right? But if we have stuff for them to buy, then that's how we kind of grow our customer base and build our brand. So we switched to a different model where instead of doing like limited edition drops, now we have a pre-order period where everybody has a chance to buy the product. There's pretty much no way that you get shut out as long as you order during the pre-order period. And that way we keep everybody happy.
So you pretty much you figured out a way to make it more accessible to the mainstream community.
Yes. We basically do more allocation towards the website, less allocation towards cases, which people were buying up all the cases and things like that. So we kind of balance it out a little bit. And I think it's working out better this way.
Oh yeah, can't wait, man. And so when can the second series will be released? When can we expect this of Street Fighter?
The Street Fighter Volume 2. It's going to be six volume set. So Volume 2.
That's a lot.
Yeah, 6. Each of them were 2 characters each. So we're doing the first 12 characters. Volume 2 will be in February. And we're doing the Ontario Card Show in February as well. So
the
you'll
West
see
Coast Card Show.
Yes. So you'll see a big production of it there, and we'll have exclusives and everything like that. And should I tell you? Should I
Please.
leak it?
I just saw you, man. I'm seeing you for the first time in like 3 weeks, Dan.
Okay.
Please tell me.
Okay. The next 2 after this will be Ryu versus Sagat. That will be the next 2. So, and those ones are going to be really awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it, man. Excited. People are going to be trying to chase the rainbow for all 6 volumes.
I hope so. And I'm toying with the idea of adding some alternative art cards in there as well. It's not for sure yet. I still got to get approval by Capcom and all that stuff, but we might be growing it. We might be growing it a little bit, so it's more than just one single design. It might be like 2, 3, even 4 designs for release.
Yes.
So you're going to see the next evolution of SMC. It's only been like 6 months for us so far. So we've been kind of like figuring out how to do all this stuff, and we've been working out all the little kinks. But pretty soon you're going to see 2.0 version of SMC, where it's going to be even better quality packaging, more concepts added, and it's just going to be more of a fun experience. And one thing that I'm really starting to like focus on is not necessarily the collectible aspect of our cards, because I don't know, you know, I'm sure people think they're collectible, but I don't know, right? That's all very subjective. What I'm focusing on right now is the unboxing experience of the cards itself. So another concept that I'm trying to take away from, you know, I've been watching guys like Piggy Banks. I've been watching all these blind boxes that people are opening up, and it's an experience. You know, you open something and you're just like, wow, you know, you get all the bells and whistles. So that's what we're kind of focusing on right now. And the things that we're going to be implementing in SMC 2.0, which is going to happen in a month or two.
Right.
It's going to further enhance the unboxing experience for everybody.
Did you see who else is like doing this like blind box card thing? It's tag grading. Did you see their stuff? It's
The
like
only thing, no, I didn't see it. I know they made a Brett the Hitman Heart card, which is so random. But I don't know.
Oh,
I haven't
seen that one. Yeah, maybe because the guys are from Tag or from Canada. I don't know. Maybe that's a reason. But they come in a like a black wrapper, tag wrapper, instead of like a box, and then you would just open it up and you could get like a variation card. So like the first ones I think they did were the World Series Halloween. So they did Yankee players, Dodger players,
I did see that,
like a Halloween mashup. So like Freddie Freeman was a Frankenstein, Mookie Betts was Dracula, and so on. And then they did some for the Tyson Jake Paul fight.
But how do you feel about that? You like it's a grading company that now is making their own cards. What do you think about that?
Well, you know, I mean, of course, some people come up and tell me like, you know, why they're doing that. You know, some salty guy at the card show, you know, so the people, because they ain't making any money.
Oh,
that's what the old salty guy says.
Yeah.
Do you believe that or what? Because they're like, why would a grading company be making cards?
I think there's two ways to look at it. You know, like, yeah, if they weren't making money, if they're not making enough money grading cards, they're going to have to look for different revenue streams, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, making your own cards probably very easy for them. They have all the tooling and machinery, you know, to slab it up and make it look nice. So that's probably another way that they can make money. The other way to look at it though is I think that, you know, if you're doing well, if you present yourself as a grading company, you should put all your focus in doing that one service, right? You don't want to necessarily branch out and do other things because it takes resources away from your core business model, which is to grade. It'd be like SMC suddenly starts grading cards.
Exactly.
SMC grading,
or like pop culture cards, right?
Yeah. We're the pop culture experts, so we grade pop culture cards, right? So, but it'd be like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So I'm not a fan of seeing that. To be honest, I think they probably had a huge successful idea when they did the custom cards at the first Ontario show last year.
We had like pictures of ourselves at the West Coast or the Burbank card shows.
Yeah, and they were like, "Hey, dude, we can make a lot of money doing this. Let's start making our own cards." So they probably did that, but I just think, you know, from a long-term view, I think it's probably not the best for their company, you know. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I don't even think they care, to be honest, about grading. I think, that's interesting.
So I pulled the red Rage Hollow of the Mike Tyson one, 5 of 5.
Yeah.
So
Is
they
it licensed?
obviously took some notes from Saturday Morning Cards. I'm sure they did.
Is it licensed?
It has to be. What do you think?
I don't think so, dude.
I think it is
I
licensed.
don't think they got Mike Tyson's license.
It says art and design by MC3.
That's it.
Tag all rights reserved, and I see some stuff here, but I can't. I need my magnifying glass. I can't read it.
Okay. I don't think it's licensed. So that's another thing too. It's like, okay, let me see. It's too blurry. Wait. It says the artwork is a parody. It says the artwork is a parody and is not affiliated with, endorsed, or authorized by any third-party trademark. So see,
yes.
What is that? So they're making so it's a grading company that's making unlicensed cards. That doesn't make sense at all, dude. That doesn't make sense.
This is all new to you.
Yeah. So,
wow.
Anyways, that's my thoughts on that.
Okay, so tell us now about Asia. How was it? First you went to Thailand, then Japan. I don't know if you stopped anywhere else, but fill us in.
It's amazing. I love it. It's my third year, I think, going to Asia. You know,
wow.
It's like a yearly thing for me now. It's like a yearly thing for me and my family to go out there during December when it's my birthday. I spend my birthday out there. Mm-hmm. I love seeing all the winter decorations. You may not know this, but for some reason, they love to celebrate Christmas out there. American Christmas. They have
in Thailand and Japan.
Yeah, they have Christmas trees and lights and all the bells and whistles, everything. So it's just like being back home, you know, seeing all the decorations, but it's it's a little bit better.
It's probably a little warmer.
In Thailand, it's hot. It's kind of weird. Like I went to a Christmas village in Thailand. It's like 80 degrees and humid. But in Japan, it's actually very cold right now. So it felt like winter. But for me personally, I just love it. I mean, maybe because I'm Asian, I'm biased towards going out there, but it's just I'll give you a couple of reasons. Okay, I'll give you a couple of reasons that I think everybody can appreciate. Okay. Versus being in America, and I'll try not to like bash living in America. Okay, but I don't want it to turn into that conversation. But number one, it's cheaper. Like Thailand is like dirt cheap. Thailand is like 30 cents on the dollar versus living in America. Okay, you could get a 1 hour massage for $20 versus what it would cost here, $60. $80.
How many did you get?
I think I got like three massages while I was in Thailand.
Oh my god!
Yeah, you could get food cheaper. You know, you could get and when it's cheaper, it's not. It's less expensive, but it's not poor quality. It's actually really good quality food. Better, I would argue, better than here in many places. Okay, so your dollar goes a lot further in these countries, and in Japan, same way. The yen is really weak against the dollar right now, so you get like 60 cents on the dollar in Japan, and everything is cheaper there because labor is cheaper, so they don't, charge you a lot. Like you could get, you get a coffee here from a coffee shop. It's like $6, $7, $8. Plus you got a tip. Over there, it's like $2 or $3 for the same type of fancy drink, coffee, whatever, right? And you don't have to tip or anything. So that's one of the reasons I just love going to those Asian countries, is just because I suddenly become like upper middle class when I go there. You know what I mean? I got a little bit more money to spend versus here where I'm just like a normal guy. Second thing is and on top of that, I'll add this because I don't want it to be a separate thing, but no tipping, the no tipping culture out there. You don't know how liberating it is to go to a restaurant and not feel guilted into putting a 20% tip down for your server. It's not even like you could tip if you want to, but it's not even, it's like frowned upon. It's like insulting
Right.
to tip somebody there. They just don't do it. And they don't have any type of expectations for you to tip them. Like here, you go to a restaurant, they bring out the mobile checkout thing. They put it right in front of you, and then they show you the tipping, 18, 20%, 25%, and they just put it right in front of you. It just makes you feel so awkward.
We've gone to so many restaurants where they defaulted it at like 35%.
Dude,
and my girlfriend's like freaking out.
Insane. But in
35%.
Asia, you don't have that. You don't have that anywhere else in the world. It's only in America that you have this crazy tipping culture. So that's awesome to be able to just go, like, your price. The price is like, $20 for the meal. That's it. There's no tax on top of that because they already put it into the price. There's no tip.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing. So that's a really nice feeling. The next thing I really love is the people, the culture there, very, very respectful. In Asia, particularly, very respectful culture where people aren't trying to like do anything to offend other people. Like the culture is very considerate, right? You don't want to, when you're walking down the street, you don't want to do anything to upset somebody next to you. You don't want to play your music loud on your phone. You don't want to talk loud on the phone. You don't want to do anything that would inconvenience anybody else. That's the culture out there. Versus here, it's like for me, I think the culture is like, don't inconvenience me. You know what I mean? Like whatever you're doing, I don't like it. Stop it. Basically, you know what I mean? Versus out there, you don't think that way. You think, okay, I don't want to offend anybody, so let me just kind of keep to myself and be respectful. So that culture is very awesome, and I appreciate that very much. And then the last thing I'll say is it's very safe, very safe. Like you could walk down the street, you don't have to like, have situational awareness. You don't have to like look over your shoulder, none of that stuff. You don't have to worry about somebody robbing you and running away or anything like that. Like, like we have here, right? It's very, very, very safe. People follow the law. There's like almost no crime at all. I could let Anne walk down the street at 12:30 at night to go to the convenience store to go buy something, and I wouldn't even have to follow her. I wouldn't even have to accompany her because I just totally know that she's going to be safe. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's awesome. And then so those are like the big reasons that I love going to Asia. And then it used to be where maybe I used to think that like America had like the best amenities, you know what I mean? Out of all places. But if you go to these countries, Thailand, Japan, anywhere, if you go to the right places, they have like just as nice accommodations, just as nice restaurants, coffee shops. Everything there is on par with what you would see in like LA,
even out of the tourist areas, correct?
Yeah. Tourist areas and stuff. I mean, there's like slums there too, in certain places.
Anywhere. Any big city has them.
But like you go to like some of these places in, where I went in Bangkok or in Tokyo, it's nice, dude. It's like really modern designs, stylish, creative spaces, all that kind of stuff. So they have like all the nice things that we would have here, except it's cheaper, it's more respectful, it's safer, and you don't have to tip. So those are all the reasons I love going out there. Plus, the collectible scene out there is really, really awesome. I
was going to ask you that. Did you go to any stores or shows or anything while you were there?
So many places I went to hunting for a different type of collectibles. It's a different scene out there. You'll find things out there that you just won't find out here. So that was really fun. I'm making a lot of content about that. And then one thing I'll add too is I went to Disneyland, Tokyo Disney, for the first time out there, and that place is way different. I used to think that.
Does your membership work there too?
No,
since you have one here.
No, it's different. It's different. Okay. It used to be like I used to think that Disneyland is the same everywhere. If you have, Euro Disney or Tokyo Disney or wherever else they have it, like Shanghai Disney or whatever. Right? I used to think Disneyland is the same as Disney World. It's the same everywhere you go, right? What I learned that it's totally different because the Tokyo Disney is not owned by Walt Disney Company.
What?
They license the brand, the Disneyland brand. They license it to a Japanese company, and the Japanese company does their own thing. It looks completely different out there.
Really?
Yes, yes.
And
I love that.
is it still regulated by Walt Disney or not?
I think, well, yes, because you do see like a standard, like Winnie the Pooh looks like Winnie the Pooh, right? Mickey Mouse looks like Mickey Mouse. So they have the standards that they have to follow, but it's better. It's way better, dude. Like,
really,
the animatronics, when I went on the rides there, the animatronics, they look real. They look like they're real people that are moving in those things, and the special effects that they have, it's crazy. Like they did this thing on Beauty and the Beast where it's the Beast in his full Beast costume, and then the magic happens, he spins around, and then suddenly he turns into a human being, and it's an animatronic.
Oh, you actually saw it?
Yeah, it's not a screen projector, it's a real 3-dimensional animatronic thing that they created, and it looks like magic. So it's wild experience. So I definitely love going to Disneyland out there. Plus, you get all those aspects that I talked about, where it's more affordable. The people are nicer, safe, all that kind of stuff. And I'll give you an example. I'm starting to collect popcorn buckets. So if you go buy a popcorn bucket at Disneyland, it's like $40.
Yeah, it's expensive here, right?
Over there, it's for some reason it's like $25. So it's just cheaper. For some reason, and they have their own.
Different there too.
Yeah, they have their own exclusive popcorn buckets and things like that. So that's another aspect of Japan that I love. We do have a super sticker from our good friend of the podcast, John Holt. John, it's good to see you. I haven't heard from you in a while. Let's see what he has to say.
Welcome back, Dan. Was there something new that you saw people collecting? What's the next new thing from your view?
Well, I've been talking about the blind box toys. People are obsessed with those things. They're spending a lot of money on those. The biggest takeaway that I get when I go to Asia looking at collectibles is they like cute things, dude. Cute things sell. I'm telling you. And I'll give you an example. Like even with SMC, what I noticed, right? Our first couple releases, Steamboat Willie, Winnie the Pooh, Plain Crazy, those are like cute style cartoon cards, did very well. Then I do something a little bit more badass. I do the Terminator, and it doesn't sell as well as those other ones, right? So I think overall, people just love to have cute things, anime, cartoon characters, things like that. So that's kind of like what I'm noticing right now. And then the other thing that kind of caught my eye when I was there is animation cells. I think animation cells are very interesting right now because if you think about it, they're like one of ones as well.
Mm-hmm.
No,
especially if they're the original ones.
Yeah. They're animation cells. They're all one of ones, and the subject matter is very popular, like Pokemon animation cells, Doraemon animation cells, all those animes that they did, One Piece animation cells. That stuff is very popular. And what I learned is anime and manga comics actually outsell American comics like 10-1, sometimes 20-1. Like I saw this piece of content that somebody made where they were showing that DC was celebrating this Batman comic. I forget what it was called. They were celebrating this Batman comic that sold 400,000 copies this year. And they're saying that's the highest grossing sale of any type of comic book that they ever made, for like 400,000. Okay. Then they showed the anime sales record, and they're saying that, like, I forget which anime. It was either One Piece or what's that one called? Notaru or something like that, sold like 2.2 million copies this year. So it just shows you like the American market. We think that the American market, all these characters that we have are like the greatest things ever. But if you go to the other markets outside of the US, particularly Asia, dude, it's way bigger. Their anime stuff is way bigger. And now a lot of people in America love anime and things like that. So if you take anime, if you take the IPs and the brands of anime that people love, Pokemon is example.
Mm-hmm.
You combine it with the form of collectible of an animation cell, and I think you got something right there. And if you look at animation cells, their prices right now, you can get them anywhere between $100 to like $2,000 for an animation cell. Okay, if you compare that to original comic book artwork that sells here in America, like a Spider-Man or Captain America original artwork or something like that, that could sell anywhere between $5,000 to like, $100,000, depending on what it is. If you look at those two things, if you look at a piece of original artwork where it's a one of one, quote unquote, one of one published original artwork of something like Spider-Man, for example, Spider-Man comic book cover, and let's just say that comic book sold like 400,000 copies.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at it, anime, animation cell, a one of one that was a published episode that has millions of people that love it and follow it and have watched that episode. To me, that seems like there could be some opportunities there. If, and I personally, I've been buying up animation cells, of the things that I like. But I think that that could be like the next thing that people kind of gravitate towards, because it's kind of like an uncharted space right now.
Oh, nice. And then how was it in Japan? Like the same thing? Because I know each time you've gone, like you said,
mostly Japan. I'm mostly talking about Japan. Thailand has. I didn't really see much of a high-end collectible market in Thailand outside of sports cards. But they do have a lot of blind box toys, and they do have a lot of Pokemon TCG collectibles out there. But in what's it called, in Japan, I actually went to several art galleries that had a lot of animation cells.
So they did. Okay.
Now here's another interesting thing. While I mentioned it, so we all know that Pokemon cards are in English here, and they're in Japanese in Japan, and they have other type. I've seen like French ones and German ones, but I didn't know that they had Thai Pokemon cards. And I was talking
Thai, you mean?
Yeah, in Thai language. Wow. And I was talking to a shop owner, and I said, "What's more collectible, English, Japanese, or Thai?" And he said they're pretty much all the same. If there's any preference, it's obviously for Thailand. But in Thailand, the kids, they in terms of prices, English, Japanese, Thai, he said they're all very, very close in terms of popularity for what people collect out there. So I thought that was really interesting, because my impression, I'm not really in the Pokemon community, but my impression is that people here, obviously people want the English version, and the Japanese cards are not as expensive as the English version cards.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But if you go to the country, like if you go to Japan, obviously the Japanese cards are the preferred one. If you go to Thailand, the Thailand cards are preferred. So it's just very interesting to see. And it kind of broadens my perspective on the hobby, where I used to feel like the hobby only exists in America. This is where all the money is, right? But as I'm spending more time in different countries, we went to London, I was in France earlier this year. I've been to Canada. I'm learning that the American market is not as big or as dominant as you may think. You know what I mean?
Okay.
All these other countries, they have their own collectible markets, and what's happening in America might not even be on their radar, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, to be honest. And especially in Asia, what I'm learning too is like there are some big ass high-end collections that are sitting in Asia where the people have stupid money. You know, they would put most of the collectors in America to shame with what they have.
Now, where do like most of the Asian countries, what are the bigger people that would be participating in this type of investing in collectibles? Is it mainly like Japan and China?
Well, China for sure. Everybody talks about China. But dude, you know what was interesting? When I was out there, I was getting all these DMs from people because they saw my content. People from Indonesia, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Taiwan, Thailand, Bangkok, Shanghai. They were all messaging me. The Philippines, and they were all messaging me, and Singapore too. They were all messaging me saying, "Hey, are you in Asia? Are you going to come to the card show in Hong Kong? Are you going to come to the card show in Singapore? Are you going to come to the card show in Malaysia?" And they were all happening like on consecutive weeks. So what?
You didn't have your case with you ready?
Well, I'm not, I wasn't going to fly, but it's interesting because all the Asian countries are so close together. They're like the United States in terms of proximity to each other. So you could be in Thailand and you could take a flight to Hong Kong, be like 2 hours, 3 hours. So it'd be like us going to Texas, right? And what they've been doing is they've been creating card shows out there. And I don't think we know about this, dude. This is the first time that I was hearing about a card show in Bangkok, Thailand, right?
That's why I wanted to ask you because you've been, like you said, you've been going probably the last 3 years. And were those last 3 years like your first time there, or had you gone before to Thailand since your wife's from there? And have you seen it evolve into like what it is like in the States, or like even when you and I went to London, we could just tell, even though that was our first time in doing the London card show, you could tell it was very new to these people, and that they were very hungry to learn more about collecting and investing, collectibles. Was it the same in Thailand for you?
Yeah, it's definitely developing. The past few years I was there, I could not find any type of real hobby related shops or anything like that, but totally different this time. I went to the Cardster in Bangkok, his shop. He's actually a promoter for the Bangkok International Card Show, which we might be working with him later this next year. But he was showing me his soccer collection, his high-end stuff, and it was impressive. Things I'd never seen before, to be honest. He's pulling out like $40,000 cards and things like that, and I'm like, whoa, dude.
Really?
40,000 US dollars. I said, he pulled out this one card. It was a Ronaldo 1-of-1 Eminence auto with a bunch of diamonds on it.
What?
He said this is a $40,000 card or something like that, right? And I said, you mean 40,000 Thai baht, which is like a couple $1,000s US? He's like, no, 40,000 US. I'm like, dude, you like a millionaire in Thailand if you have one of these cards? It's crazy. But getting back to my original point is what I learned is that these promoters from these different countries are organizing themselves in a way that we haven't seen here in America. Like in America, it's like all the promoters are like fighting for territories, and they don't like each other. Most of them don't like each other, right? Is that fair to say? But in Asia, it seems like they're all working together. They all know each other. They're all supporting each other. So what they're doing is they're coordinating their card shows. So you had the Macau card show, which we've talked about before. That was like the first card show when I was out there. Then the following week, you had like a Hong Kong card show. Then the following week, you had a Indonesian.
Right there too. You could have that's two like shows right there in the same area.
Yeah, and what I'm learning is that they're coordinating because they're allowing people to fly out to Asia from different countries, like America, right? You fly out.
They're like a bunch of trading card gypsies.
Yeah, and you say, hey, we understand you don't want to make the long flight out here to come and then fly right back after the weekend. So we're coordinating our card show so that if you want to make a vacation out of it, you can come for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and you can go to card show in different countries every single week. And I thought that was very interesting because not only are they trying to make it so that they're not competing against each other, but they're also kind of like coordinating in a way where they're trying to make it for people to have like vacations when you go to card show. And when I talked to the promoter for the Bangkok International Card Show, his name's I talked to him. I said, what are you trying to do here? Because he was asking me if I wanted to go to his card show next year and help him promote. And I said, well, what's your goal here? Do you want to when you want people to come out to your show, do you want them to make a lot of money? Do you want them to like just meet other collectors? And he told me something I never heard before. He said, I want people to have a vacation experience when they come to my card show. Because if you're coming to Bangkok, Thailand, most people only go to Bangkok for vacation. It's a big tourism spot. So, you're going to come to Bangkok, Thailand. You're going to go to a nightclub. You're going to go see a Muay Thai match. You're going to go stay in a 5-star resort for a very affordable price. And then you're going to come to my card show, on top of that. And I'm thinking to myself, that's brilliant, right? How many times, who else talks about that? When we go to Dallas, does the Dallas promoter say, hey, you're going to come out, you're going to go to a Cowboys game, you're going to eat Texas barbecue, you're going to, you're going to go do this or that, right? When we go, the Philly card show, right? Did they say, hey, you're going to come out to Philly, you're going to see a Philly baseball game, you're going to get a cheesesteak,
hang out in South Street.
You're going to do any of that stuff. No, they never talk about that.
Philly cheesesteaks.
They never talk about the city or the experience that it has to offer anybody. I think maybe the closest guy is maybe like Culture Collision. I think he kind of talks about the experience a little bit. I know Rob from Burbank, they said for the Anaheim show, they were talking about like going to Disneyland and stuff like that. But really, they don't present it as an experience, as a vacation like experience. But they're doing that in Asia right now. And I know they were doing that for Macau too. They try to say, oh, you go to Macau, you can gamble at the world-class casino and then do the card show thing.
And they just had like their second one just recently, right?
Yeah. So they're definitely taking a different approach, which I think is very, very interesting. And it's something that I want to kind of see if we can get and kind of be a part of. I know we talked about not doing any of these card shows anymore, but I think we might have to make an exception and go out to Asia.
It would be a good full experience. Yeah, I mean, tourists, because you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We can have the experience of the show and then the experience of a vacation.
Yeah. Because, like, let's be real. If we go out there, it's not going to be like we're going to make a ton of money, No,
you expect not to make any. You're just there. You're paying for the experience.
Yeah. So why would we go there? We would go
promote marketing.
We would go there for the experience. You know what I mean?
You better bring some Saturday morning cards with you.
Yes. And Saturday morning cards is starting to show up in Asia, which is very surprising to me. I did not know this, and I had nothing to do with it, but SMC cards were showing up at the Hong Kong card show, at the Thailand, Bangkok card show, at the Indonesia card show, someplace in Taiwan. So it's spreading. It's spreading, which I think is really cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. When's the next vacation then?
Oh, I don't know, dude. Like, really, like,
How long does it take you to recover from this trip?
Like 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah. But like, here's the thing. Here's something that I realized. Okay, if I can get a little bit deeper in the conversation.
Let's do it. Thank you.
So when I go out there, I'm on vacation. It's very hard for me to separate my work from my daily life, because I'm, it's not like I have a job where I just clock in, clock out. I'm a self-employed business owner, entrepreneur. So it's like, I'm always thinking about my responsibilities in my work, because if I don't do it, nobody else is going to do it. Right.
Right.
So like I'm in Asia, and I'm thinking, oh man, I got to do this Street Fighter release. I was making Street Fighter content while I was out there. I was thinking about my other job responsibilities and my other businesses and the things that I have to take care of. And sometimes it would give me like anxiety and stress me out. I'm like, oh man, I need to get back home. I need to take care of this. And I had to like really internalize how I was feeling while I was on vacation, because I was having these amazing experiences, but I was also having anxiety and stress and a little bit of stress from not being at home, being able to take care of these problems that would come up. And I learned that you have to, and I have a hard time saying this word. And I think like the fact that it's hard for me to say this word kind of shows me that it's hard for me to even do this act. But compartmentalize, you know what that word means? Compartmentalize, like separate, take something, put it in a box and separate it. Don't even think about it. I had to really kind of teach myself how to compartmentalize, you know, these things that was happening back home while I was on vacation. I was like looking up content on my phone, like watching people like self-help lectures on how to do this. You know, it's just, it was a eye-opening realization that I have to learn how to do this, you know? So I'm going to try to like be a little bit better in terms of separating my work from my daily life. And, you know, hopefully that will help me balance things out a little bit better where, you know, I'm not always working so hard and I can enjoy myself a little bit more.
Well, you're just like the guy in the beer commercials. You are like the hardest working man. So I'm like, man, how does he fit some leisure time in?
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. I'm trying to set myself up where I can.
Like I said, I loved it when my girlfriend and I saw you like feeding goats out in the country and stuff, and I'm like, that is so Great Curator. It's so not you. And I was just tickled seeing you do all these things that I normally never see you do.
And plan that.
Your wheelhouse for sure.
Yeah, and plan that, not me.
So, I know she did. Of course she did.
Yeah, but it was interesting. It was an interesting experience for sure.
You didn't ride an elephant or anything?
Not this time. I've done it before.
You have done that.
Yeah, I've done it before, but you know, not this time.
Okay.
You know, it's not something I'd probably ever want to do again. But
even though I know you're in your office right now, did you bring back any like cool items or anything that you pick up? Because I know like one time you bought a bunch of like Japanese wrestling magazines and you took those to Dallas and you just got wiped. Everybody loved them and bought them all from you. Like, and you bought like other cool, like you said, the blind box toys. What was some cool things that you could maybe say that you talked about that you picked up?
Just like little toys here and there, a couple blind box items. What else did I can't really remember, you know.
Like John wanted to know like what is hot in Japan and Thailand? Like what are they like thirsty for?
I'm telling you, it's the blind boxes, okay? And I'm gonna drop a name that I guarantee nobody in the chat or you have ever heard of this name before.
I'm sure I haven't.
Okay, but it is insanely popular to the point like people are waiting in line, fighting with each other to try to buy this thing.
What? And where's it? Japan?
Everywhere. In Thailand specifically.
They have the same thing?
It's called Labubu. You ever heard of Labubu?
Labubu.
Labubu. It's a character. Labubu. Okay?
I don't want to hear about your Labubu.
It's Labubu. And people are going crazy for this little tiny character. It's an ugly ass. It looks like a bunny. It looks like a gremlin and a bunny if they mated and they had a little
like a
kid.
Mutant bunny gremlin.
Yes. Yeah. It's got like sharp razor teeth, sharp teeth, bunny ears, big ass eyes. But it's a character and it's called Labubu. And you know why it's famous?
Why?
Because Lisa from Blackpink collects them. It's a blind box toy. It's a blind box toy. She collects them and she showed it off on social media. And when she showed it off, it blew up.
Oh, especially the Asian market just went batshit crazy.
Yeah. So like you could buy one of those things here for like $20. And in Asia, in Bangkok, Thailand, it's like $60. $60 US dollars.
You get cheaper here in the United States versus Asia.
Yes.
That's the only different thing that's cheaper here than it would be in Asia.
Yes, it is.
Oh wow,
It's
Labubu.
La Boo Boo. It's crazy. So that's one really big character, and then the other big character. Nobody's gonna hear about this one, but I learned about it when I was there, and I thought I even fell for it. I even bought some merchandise, but
Okay,
the character's name is Butterbear. Butterbear.
Butterbear.
Okay. And it's a mascot for a coffee shop in Bangkok that went viral because it's a bear costume, and the person inside does all these funny dances. They dance like sexy dances, like K-pop style dances, but in a bear
Oh, I
costume.
said that or Magic Mike.
Yeah, kind of like that, right? Kind of like that. And it went viral, and now people line up to go to this cafe to buy the merch, the Butterbear merch. So
Butterbear. Oh
yes,
my! I thought that's what
you
your
gotta
wife
look it
called you.
up. You
Give
got
her
after this,
Butterbear.
you gotta look it up so you can see the amazing world of Butterbear. But I'm
That
gonna
thing does erotic dancing.
yes, like shakes its hip and grinds and does all these things.
It
It's
does
really fun.
like ride at that pony.
Yes, but it's cute and
I
it's
know.
funny.
That's what I'm saying. It looks so wrong if it does
Yeah,
that.
but they love it out there. They love it out there. And I'm taking notes because I'm taking notes about how they market these characters because my goal is to turn Tiger Bear into a popular character like this.
Okay. So do you want me to get into the Tiger Bear outfit and do some Magic Mike?
Yes, would you? Okay. Do it. We're trying to go viral
Oh
here,
boy,
man.
I'll get
We're
on the
trying to go
floor.
viral. Yes.
My pony, my
Yes.
saddle,
Yes.
waiting.
So that is
Jump
the
on.
big thing out there right now, the blind box and the characters. And again, this kind of goes back to what I was saying before. Here's the business lesson, guys. If you want to learn how to make some money, listen to my words, okay? You take something cute and you package it in an affordable piece of merch, you will sell a lot of it. You know what I mean? You will sell a lot. The Labubu, for example, they took a character, they made it cute. They make little toys for like $20. They sell a ton of them because people just want something physical. If people see something that they like that brings them some type of form of joy or entertainment, they want a physical representation of that thing, and they don't want to spend a lot of money, so they just buy something small. And these companies that are producing these characters and these toys and all that stuff, they're making a killing. Believe me.
Oh, well, SMC might have to get into the blind toy box market.
It's coming. Okay. I'll tell you that right now. As soon as I can find sourcing, it's going to happen. You're going to see
already
a Tiger
waiting
Bear.
for that Tiger Bear toy.
Yeah, you're going to see a Tiger Bear blind box toy at some point. Believe me.
I'm ready for it. And for me to do the dancing at the conventions.
Yes. We're going to make it go viral.
So did you I know you haven't been caught up in any wrestling. Did you watch any wrestling when you came back? Did you watch the Survivor Series or Saturday Night's Main Event?
To be honest, I have not kept up with wrestling in quite a while. I've just been too busy. I only watch highlights, so I know what's going on, but I haven't been able to watch a full,
yeah, they had that the Saturday Night's Main Event. Well, Survivor Series was really good. It was, especially the men's. The women's was a little messy, but they had really good moments. And yeah, you got to watch it. It's very good. Saturday Night's Main Event was very interesting, and they made it really retro. So I felt like I was back in high school in the 80s again. And Jesse Ventura showed up and other people. So it was great to see him on air. And then they had the first women's U.S. title finals, and Chelsea Green won that because I guess they're going to do an Intercontinental women because there's so many women in the division, and with the what do you call it, NXT getting really deep with women's talent. I mean, I think the women are starting to outperform the men, that they need more titles for the mid-card people, so they have stories to write for them. So good for Chelsea, and she actually looked really great. She had a really cool outfit that had little images of her. and she had this singlet that had just one leg, and I didn't know until the announcer said, they actually said that on air, that it was in honor of her husband, Matt Cardona.
Yeah.
And you asked me earlier before the show, you're like, oh, do I know who Matt Cardona is? And I was like, well, you introduced him to me because I did not watch him when he was on WWE, but I only got introduced to him when you sent me the videos of him and toys 3 years ago. And so I know he's really into like pop culture and collectibles. And I think he was recently on AEW wrestling on one of the PLEs. So what'd you think about that?
Well, just to speak about Matt Cardona real quick here.
I know.
He's actually a huge toy influencer.
I know. That's the only way that's the first time I was introduced by him from you.
Yeah. And he's taken a little bit of interest in Saturday morning cards, believe it or not. He's a big Terminator fan, and I shared some of our Terminator posts with him, and he's like, hey, this is awesome. And I said, hey, do you want me to send you some to check out? And he's like, please do. So I sent him a box of Saturday morning cards, so we might even see him post it. I'm hoping that he'll post.
It's not as nasty as MJF's was with yours.
Yes. Okay. Hey, but that went viral though. That went viral. Anyways.
Oh hell yeah, it deserved it. Be roasted like that was an honor.
But Chelsea Green, I like Chelsea. I think she's got a great look to her. She's hot.
She got a great personality.
But I don't like her gimmick, to be honest. I don't like her.
Chelsea,
is she supposed to be crazy? Is she supposed to be crazy or girly? I don't know. I don't like her gimmick. I think that she could be like.
She first started trying. I guess when she first came back to WWE, it was kind of like a Karen type personality. You know, Karen.
She tries to be funny, and I don't think that she should be funny. I think she should be like Tiffany Stratton, like I'm a super hot girl. I'm arrogant. I'm athletic. This is me, right? Type of deal. I think that should be her personality, not this crazy.
Tiffany's segueing into being a baby face now too.
Oh, I mean, people love her because she's got the look, dude. The look is everything,
and the talent,
and she can work too. Like her,
I love that. When she was in the Survivor Series, the crowd just freaked out of her like flips.
Yeah, her whatever you call it, her moonsault that she does. Is
that's what I was talking about. Yeah, the moonsault.
Yeah, it's so good, so good.
People were like, you can hear them just awing like crazy when she did that. Yeah, so we will hopefully get some content when Matt opens up your SMC packages. So
I hope so. It's no guarantee, no guarantee. Like when you're that big, you probably, I wouldn't be surprised if he said, hey, you want me to post this? You got to pay me some money or whatever, right? But I'm hoping that like
you better keep some in your pocket then.
I hope that he'll enjoy it enough where he'll just say something and then I'll be happy.
Well, tell him we bought some of his bendies or what those things are.
I have bought those.
I like the Danhausen ones.
Yeah, I was listening to his podcast when he just started his podcast a couple years ago, when he had nobody listening to it, to be honest.
Really?
And I was one of the first people to listen to it consistently.
Wow.
And it actually got me back into collecting, to be honest, because back then I got into wrestling, but I wasn't collecting cards or anything. And I wanted to consume more wrestling content. So I started looking up wrestling podcasts, and that was one of them. And he just talked about wrestling figures all the time. And I never collected wrestling figures my entire life, but just listening to it made me want to start collecting. So I started collecting the wrestling figures, and then that kind of led me to start collecting Marvel figures. And then that started me to collect cards. And then, the rest is history,
Oh, geez. Well, Matt Cardona, a.k.a. what was it, Zack Ryder?
Yeah.
Back in the WWE days. I hope you're listening. Do the Great Curator a favor and, show his stuff on your show. Please.
That would be so cool. That would be so cool if something like that happened, And they make their own cards too. He makes his own like wrestling cards. So maybe he'll contact me and be like, hey, let's do a collab or something. That would be really cool.
Oh yeah, those are pretty popular. I noticed that the National Treasures came out, but I heard, and then the downtowns are in the what's it called, the threes or whatever.
I don't like those. Do you like those downtowns?
Well, they look pretty.
They look weird to me.
I don't know. I like the cards that come out of that set though.
They look really cheap to me. I don't know. For some reason, they just don't.
One or all threes. What's that brand called?
I don't know.
Threes.
Something like
just get 3 of them.
yeah.
And then I heard everybody's just crapping on the National Treasures because they're sticker autos.
Of course, they're also.
But they're going to do. But I heard it's going to be on card auto for flawless, and it should be.
I've been waiting for flawless since they got the license.
I know you did.
I've always wanted a flawless Hulk Hogan card auto. So we'll see. But if it's sticker, I'm not going to go for it.
And then I heard Chrome will come out with their first set since Panini took over the end of January.
That'd be cool.
So there's going to probably some overlaps of cards. So Panini and Topps might be overlapping.
Let me ask you this, because the possibility is here. If I've generally stayed away from making cards that the other companies make, but what if I made a wrestling card? Because I could get the license to Sergeant Slaughter, to Ric Flair, to a whole bunch of other legends, and I could make a card of them. It won't have the WWE logo, but it'll be the same,
It'll be like Leaf does, but nicer.
Yeah, and it was wrestling. They don't wear the logo on their outfit or anything, so it's
they don't.
It's everything, right? So I don't know. What do you think? Like wrestling collectors would want something like if I made a Sergeant Slaughter card because I love him, or Ric Flair. You think people would be like, "That's interesting," maybe do something with that?
Sure, yeah, you can do something with it. I mean, if you don't think it's too much like competition, or if it's too much out there already,
I don't know. I might just do it for fun.
So many. They even did the Rock one.
Yeah, I might just do it for fun. Who knows? We'll see. Everything I make is for myself anyway. So if I do something, it'll be like Sergeant Slaughter or Andre the Giant or something cool like that.
The hottest card, the last thing that I opened up, they had the Select, and the hottest cards out of those selects are the Stephanie Valcor, the Julia, and the Jacob Fatu. They're the top ones out of that set. I don't know what's in the National Treasures or what will be the flawless, but man, I don't know how much the flawless will be. I'm sure it'll be expensive, but.
Well, I'm not buying a box. If it's like crazy money, I'm not buying a box.
I know you're going to buy a case, Dan.
I just buy the cards. I just buy the cards as they come out,
How about breaks? Would you do a break with it?
No, probably not.
When's the last time you did a break?
I got burned. I bought in there. I told you I bought in their Rhea Ripley spot, and
yes, I remember.
They didn't pull one Rhea Ripley card. It was crazy.
What kind of set was this?
Immaculate.
Okay, so then how many cards are in a box, and how many boxes are a case?
30 cards.
Yeah, you don't. It's how much is it? And then how much did it cost for the Rhea?
$200.
Whoa! Wow.
$200 gone. I didn't get nothing for it.
Jeez, yeah. Well, Darth's mom said it's not that much for the ones that she was opening for that 3-in-1, that Panini 3-in-1, where the downtowns come from. Yeah. But they look pretty hot. I mean, but for the price of those cards to buy a box, I'd rather just buy the single. I'd rather just go buy the Roman Reigns or the Cody or whatever.
That's the play.
Yeah, and hopefully you get a good grade on one of them. Anything else, Dan?
No, I think we can get to the comments unless you want to talk about your
show thing. I did not pay $6.2 million for this one. Nor did I know what you're talking about. But look what I got for Christmas. Look at that, guys.
It's open.
It's open. Anybody wants this, hit me up for asking price. Blind bidding going on now. Tell me how much you want for this piece of art.
Let's talk about
that was my white Christmas gift.
Let me talk about that real quick here.
Okay.
There is some crazy shenanigans happening in the art world. That whole thing, that banana that sold for $6.2 million, there's nobody in the world that can justify that is an actual piece of art. There's nobody that can say that
is a real. You heard what the guy who bought it, what he did with it after he got it.
He ate it as a joke.
Because he's saying that's how much money he has. Because he's from China.
Yeah.
Big crypto guy, right?
And that's the thing. Crypto guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
people are crazy, like, laundering their money, buying things like that, right? Even the company that bought the Shohei Ohtani 50-50 ball, that was like a write-off, like some type of tax write-off for them to buy
Really?
that thing. Yeah. But anyways, I think in the art world, there's a lot of shenanigans going on. And I think that I don't want to get too deep into this, but I feel like those same shenanigans happen in the hobby, but we just don't talk about it. We don't look at it that way. Anybody that looks at that sale for that banana and what happened afterwards, it's not legit. Like, it was a legit sale, but the reason that they bought it was not because they thought it was a piece of artwork, because they wanted some type of, to clean the money or a tax write-off or some type of alternative motive for them to buy that, right? So that quote unquote piece of art is not actually worth that much for the artwork. It just happened to be some gimmick that somebody was trying to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that happens in the collectible world as well, where you see a card or a piece of game used memorabilia that will sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars, make a huge record sale, and everybody thinks to themselves, oh my God, this is going to impact the hobby. This is great. This is that, this and that, right? But I think it's the same principle, the same concept. Is like, somebody has money, they need to get rid of it somehow, so they just buy something. Okay, not because it's actually worth that much, but because they need some type of write-off, or they need to move the money into something for some ulterior motive other than wanting to actually buy that item and valuing that item. Okay, I think that's what happens all the time. I think that just happened with a wrestling card, that Hulk Hogan PSA 9, the 1982 All-Star, the PSA 9 that sold for like $130,000.
What was that? Golden Heritage or where?
Heritage, I think.
It was,
Auctions.
yeah.
That sold, and everybody's talking about, oh my God, this is putting the wrestling card market on the map and blah, 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 blah. I don't think so.
You think it's a fluke because
it's not a fluke. It's not a fluke. I just think somebody bought that thing because they needed to move money for whatever reason, and they just bought it. And that's it. That's all it is, right? It doesn't make everything go up in value. I've got a Ric Flair. I've got a 1982 Ric Flair PSA 9.
Put it on auction.
I have it on eBay right now. I put it at $25,000. Nobody's going to buy that. It's just there, but nobody's going to buy it. Right. Right. But it's like Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan. You think they would be comparable, but it's just not, because that was not real.
How do we find those guys that need tax write-offs? How do I find them to bid on my items?
Well, here's the other thing. I feel like they know each other. I feel like they know each other, and they do these things, but I don't want to get too deep in that. That's like conspiracy theorists. I don't want to sound like some of the losers that always attack me.
We'll just do it short and simple.
But I'm pretty much I'm starting to really.
It's interesting. I didn't really it makes sense now. I didn't really see it, the way it was, and you kind of pointed it out, and I'm glad you did, because now I can see that now.
Yeah. So they're doing it right in front of our faces, and we're laughing at it, but you got to understand that there's a ulterior motive behind all these transactions, right? And
well, if you ever need a tax write-off, here it is, Dan.
There you go, guys.
Just buy this from me, okay?
Okay.
But you can't eat that banana. That's a fake banana, actually.
Yeah. Another thing I want to point out too. Literally, you have the same thing that guy purchased. It's a banana and a piece of duct tape, right?
I won't get copyright infringement, will I, for doing that? Or is that a parody?
Literally the same thing. But the only way that you can kind of say that art piece was sold for that much is because they said there was a famous artist.
The comedian.
Right? So it's like, you're
And he
attaching
sold two other ones too prior to that for about 150, 200,000.
so you're attaching a brand to that piece, and the value of that piece is entirely justified based off of the brand that's attached to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we see this with art cards, piggy banks, for example. Okay, a good friend of mine, Piggy Banks. He charges $750 for his card, or some of his cards on the secondary market sell for several $1,000s. But then you compare his stuff to somebody else like Case Hitman, or I don't know, whoever else card artists out there, it's not the same. It won't sell for the same. They could arguably do the same thing, right? They could arguably make the same thing. In fact, I'll use another example. Piggy Spanks.
Oh God! Oh, glad you brought that up, Dan, because everybody was sending me texts about that cease and desist yesterday.
So Piggy
Spanks,
Piggy Banks. If they did a similar card, one would be worth more money because the Piggy Banks brand has more value to it versus the Piggy Spanks brand, And I feel like that's kind of like an interesting thing to realize as well, because what are we buying? Are we buying the brand name, or are we buying the actual piece of collectible, right?
Is this Piggy Spanks like a parody of a parody?
Yeah. And I think that whole thing is a lot deeper than we understand, than we know. I don't want to talk about it because I don't know what is public knowledge or not.
Right, I understand.
But it's very clear that there's a personal beef between those two people. And I think that account Piggy Spanks was created because of some personal beef between Piggy Banks and him and that guy, whoever it is.
Yeah, and I also saw that this is because I don't know as much. I don't know anything like you do, but all I know is that someone sent me the text and the photos, and even the logo resembles that of Piggy Banks.
Yeah, and I think all that was done intentionally to try to.
Well, that's obvious. I mean,
to troll him some way, because I think there was something that happened. I kind of know what happened, but I don't want to say it. I think if you do your own research and you look through those accounts, you'll see the history of everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a whole interesting thing in itself. I don't want to talk about that because I consider Piggy Banks a friend, so I don't want to.
I just totally understand.
I don't want to get into that, but that is a very interesting situation that's going on.
Oh, good to know. Okay. Yeah, because I was wondering, what happens when people start parroting the people who are parroting the original art, and then almost mimicking their names as a parody.
I know, right?
So it's almost like a wacky package. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Okay.
And then some people understand it. Then one half the people understand it, and one half people going, well, that's not right because he's taking a license and making a parody of it. So why is he giving hell to someone else who's doing it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's like two different sides. And I'm getting about 50-50 right now.
That is why
I don't know what to tell you. I don't have the answers to all of them.
That is why when I started Saturday Morning Cards, we decided to go for licensed properties, public domain. We started off public domain, but we, primarily do officially licensed properties now, just so that I don't have to be in that space with those other guys, because it seems pretty crazy to me right now.
Let me tell you, sometimes I go into these chat rooms for all these people we've mentioned, and sometimes when I'm bored, I just want to see what's going on there, and then sometimes I see some just nasty feuding stuff between people from every end. There's people who like all of them. You know what I'm saying? Who will collect it all. And then there's people who are just so exclusive, they hate everybody else. They're so mean. Some are nice about it, because they just want to respect that person and others. But then there's some people who are just downright rude about it and let it be known. Like they're just too nose up the air to everybody else. So the hell of everybody else. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I step into? It's like high school here.
I used to like them all. I used to like all the card artists, but then I started to get that. I started to get those vibes where people were becoming very tribal with the artists they support.
Thank you.
And I was just like, forget it, dude. I'm not dealing with this crap.
Yeah, it's a little scary when you sometimes go in there. And I'm like, dude, I thought we were going to talk about fun stuff and look at everybody's cards and trade and stuff. I didn't know we were going to get like nasty on everybody.
Anyways.
And there's literally, I'd see fights between people like who were like favored the other artists, and they're all in the message boards together, just calling each other names, and it's starting to get really nasty and attacking.
These grown-ass men have too much time on their hands.
Yeah, well, I found out a lot of these guys are the ones that are doing the big fighting that I'm sitting there watching, or like married with kids and stuff. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, when do they even have time? When are they? They should be with their family. They should be at work. I feel like they're on it 24/7.
Yeah. Childish.
I know.
Okay. All right. So let's wrap this up. I got to get back to work here.
Yeah, let's do it, Dan. Let's go through the comments.
We don't have too many comments, so.
Oh, goody. Carlos, Rise and Shine Curator Army. Always good to see you, Carlos. Welcome back, Dan. Happy holidays to all. Happy holidays to you. I think it's the beginning of Hanukkah now, and then everybody Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, whatever. Game Time Gallery. Merle, let us know if you have photos coming up in the January Heritage Auction. Oh, hell no, not anymore. I'm done with sending them the Heritage.
You learned your lesson.
Yes. It was a fun experiment, and I'm over it. Carlos, great job design, Dan, about the SMC cards. I did get to read the rest of it, Dan. Go back. I love the way the box rises and shows the versus players.
So if you missed it, guys, this is cool aspects to the box. It actually rises.
That is so cool. Now, did you come up with that idea, Dan?
No, I'm not going to take credit for it. It's our designer, our box designer. They were
brilliant. Tell them they did a great job with that.
Yeah.
San Diego's fake beard. Y'all still got those Mickey Mouse Steamboat Willie cards, Dan?
Not really. I've got a couple of our reserve stock that we use to give away to like content creators and things like that. But you can find those pretty easily on eBay or go into the Discord. People have them available.
Okay, good to know. Carlos, great idea matching low number cards. Yeah, that was brilliant, Dan. Vintage Lord Canada, welcome back, Dan. Manuel, welcome back, Dan. We should play that Welcome Back Carter song. This is Ed. Ola fellas, catch playback, Christmas lights with the family. Y'all always have great content. Thanks, buddy. Carlos, cards are well thought out. Yes, they are. Emmanuel, what is the schedule for the last two shows? We're trying to figure it out, Emmanuel, so we'll keep you posted. Probably the 30th, looks like right now. The soft next one. Carlos, Golden Nugget. Which one? The SMC cards?
I think he's talking about
CD Sports Cards. Adrian, gentlemen, how are you? Good to see you. Hopefully, Adrian, we see you for the new year and at the West Coast Card Show. Do you have a table at that? Let me know.
He thinks you're mad at him. I hope that
no, we've already chatted. We've been talking since then. That's long gone.
Good.
I let him. I took him to his quiet room. He's back out now.
Good. Okay, so that wraps up all the comments.
Kisses each other.
That wraps up.
Adrian, love you.
You want to do any plugs before we say goodbye for tonight?
Yeah, I'm at. Well, we did the premiere. I did the regional show, which I had some SMC cards there, but I still have a lot. I will definitely be bringing them to the Front Row Card Show. My girlfriend and I and Show Locator, a couple other people will be at the Front Row Card Show in Las Vegas. I think that's the weekend of January 4th and 5th at the Rio Hotel. Dude, the last few shows I've been to at Front Row have been absolutely packed to the gill. I mean, overly packed, like too packed. They even had like the fire marshal. It was 2.5 hour people in line to get the last one in Pasadena. It was ridiculous. And what I love it, because it's kind of like the kind of crowd that Dan and I like these days, especially for SMC type people. It's mostly collectible people, pop culture people, TCG people, and a little sports sprinkled in as well. But the guy does very well, even though this is after the first. This will sell. It's already sold out. It will be packed. So if you're in the Vegas area, want to come to the Vegas area after New Year's, come on out and see me. I'll be there. And then, we'll be gearing up for the West Coast card show in February. And I think we got WonderCon too.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of stuff coming up, guys.
Yes.
A lot of stuff.
Yes. And then if you guys need any SMC cards, feel free to hit up Merlin. He does have some in stock. Dick Tracy, Rocketeer, Popeye, Terminator. So hit Merlin up if you guys want some. Please support him and buy those.
They're still sealed. They haven't not been open. They have the label still sealed and the wrapper all in them. Yeah.
Okay, so that's gonna be it. I gotta get back to the warehouse and pack these damn things. Dan. So I'll be working late.
Happy holidays to you and your family. Great Curator family.
Appreciate it, guys.
All you guys out there.
Yeah, if we don't see you, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. We'll see you right before the New Year's. And remember, that will be the last show for Between Two Slabs for, the foreseeable future. So you guys don't want to miss that show. We might do some giveaways. I might do some SMC giveaways for that show. So mark your calendars. It's going to be a good time. Okay.
Oh, that'll be fun. I can't wait.
Yeah. All right, guys. Appreciate it. Happy holidays. See you in a couple weeks.
Two nerds wishing they could grow body hair. Comics, cards, and toys. Nothing that would interest you. It's the podcast.